Hey friends, it has been a minute since I have done one of these solo catch up episodes. So let's take a few minutes to catch up on where I'm at in my business, where I'm at in my personal life, where social media and AI are headed, what's going on now, and what's to come for entrepreneurs in the future. Okay, maybe this is just a little bit of a venting session, but let's talk about the whole concept of charging what you're worth. The whole charge what you're worth culture is real, but outsourcing at $50 to $100 per video for video editing makes scaling and growing a business really dang hard. And let's talk about that because we already have clients, small business owners that are outsourcing me. They are paying me to do their social media. They are hiring our team to do that. And when they're paying me $50 to $100 an hour, it is really hard to pay team members $50 to $100 an hour to get the results where I'm actually making profit. Now, there are a couple ways you can go about this. Social media managers, freelancers can absolutely charge that. The problem I see is that most of them, if they lose a client, they feel, and I say this from experience because this is where I was. If you lose a client, you have to go chase another one to be able to somewhat support your paycheck and pay your monthly bills. And so the only way to grow and have that safety net is to scale, charge a little bit more, and delegate. What's happening right now, this charge what you're worth mentality, and yes, I do think you should charge what you're worth. But here's the thing, I think people are overvaluing themselves because they're not thinking about small business owners. I've seen a lot of people price themselves in corporate pricing. And here's the thing, I get told all the time that I'm too expensive, I'm too pricey, I just can't afford you. But I'm also not a freelance social media manager. I am outsourcing and paying for video editing. I'm outsourcing and paying for a lot of software and tools and project management that you're not going to get from a lot of freelance social media people. I've also have over 20 plus years experience in the social media marketing world. You're going to get strategic reports. You're going to get my personal conversations. I know there are so many freelance social media managers out there. They don't want to talk to you on the phone. They don't want to come to weekly calls. They don't want to come to weekly meetings. They're not going to drive to go get the content that they actually need. And so I do feel like this is what makes us different as a social media agency, but I'm not going to lie. It's been really hard finding really good help that I can actually afford to help keep my business running. I am such a big advocate of small business owners and entrepreneurs. It is one of the reasons I do not want to raise my prices. I want to stick it where I'm at and really give good quality to the small businesses that I work with. On a brighter note, I think this is a win for my business in this season is that most of my clients right now in the social media management space, even in the membership space, but speaking of social media management in general, right now have been with me for over 4 years. So the majority of our clients have been with us for a long time. They've built that relationship. We know each other. We can grow together. We can scale and change together. Also, a positive is that 3 of my clients this month have asked to up their packages and up their service. And I love this because this means they're 1, happy with what they are getting, some of the results that they are seeing, and 2, that they trust us enough to take this on. And 3, it makes me happy because now they're going to free up some time. And I want them to delegate as much of social media stuff to us as they possibly can because I want my clients thriving in the business that they have and their space, whether that's at a restaurant, real estate, flooring company. I want them thriving at what they are good at. So yeah, this season of my business has felt like a little bit of a stretch because we're trying to figure out what to pay to outsource, how much we do actually want to grow and scale. Right now, we actually have a wait list. We're not taking on any new clients, but we want that wait list in because if for some reason we do have a client drop off, we want to quickly be able to replace them fast with somebody who's been on that wait list, who's ready to work with us. And I'm still figuring out what this next version of growth looks like. Okay, on a personal note of what this business looks like for me, 20 years ago, I worked for a woman named Sharon Decker, and she used to have a company called the Tapestry Group. It was my very first job right out of college as her marketing coordinator. She is now the president and owner of the Tryon Equestrian Center. If you've never been, hands down, recommend it. I will link their information in the show notes. It is one of the most beautiful places that you can visit, and it is growing exponentially. She has currently been hired by the governor of North Carolina to help restore Western North Carolina and economic development for all of those small business owners who lost their businesses during Hurricane Helene. Because she has taken on this project, she reached out to yours truly and said, I know that you're the person I want to hire to help with the social media aspect of this. If you want to follow along, we have a couple of different accounts for her, but you can just look her up, Sharon Decker, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We're also going to be creating some new pages for the Tapestry Collaborative and W&C Main Street. So we're going to be doing a lot of local news, a lot of local businesses. If you want to be a part of that, or if you know somebody who lost their business during Hurricane Helene, we would love to chat with them. If you know anybody who's going to be partnering to help restore these businesses, we would love to interview them. So be sure to follow along on this journey. I'm super excited about that. Another thing that I'm going to be doing this summer is following the All-State Youth Choir. Now, this is something I was part of in high school. I was part of it for all 4 years. I was actually an OG when they originally started in 1999. That was probably some of my best memories from high school and some of the best friends that I made, honestly. We were able to tour all over the state of North Carolina and sing at different churches, at different college campuses. And I get to come as an alumni this year to capture the content and help show online what this youth choir is doing. How full circle is this? They're performing in Western North Carolina this year. So I get to kill two birds with one stone. And I think that's just a blessing from God that I am getting paid to do something that I absolutely love for two things: helping the youth and my faith, and really being able to witness to some of these kids and how important this is for the message that they're sharing with others through their faith and through song, but then also helping restore Western North Carolina and do that both at the same time. Follow along because I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be interviewing the teenagers. I'm sure we're going to be having a lot of fun. And my best friend's son has the most amazing voice, and I am going to be making him sing on social all the time. So get ready. Your feed is about to be blessed with some of the best high school talent out there in North Carolina. Okay, outside of business, on a personal note, a lot of y'all know, because I've talked about this in podcasts before, is I hired a relationship coach who happens to be one of my good friends, which is why I didn't hire her at the beginning. I ended up hiring her later on when I just really realized I needed her. But she is my relationship coach. Her name is Mara Palermo. On Instagram, she is Mara T. Palermo. And it's funny because we've only had still a few sessions together. But from those sessions, I have just seen the growth in me. I have seen the healing journey. And this is something I don't think I would have gotten from therapy. I'm sure therapy has been great for a lot of people. I go to therapy, but what I'm getting from Mara has been 10 times better. I can say that. And I'm not sure if it's because of the actionable steps she's able to give me that therapists are just not allowed to give. And some of those are breath work, which I always used to think was woo-woo, truly. But when you study the scientific research of what this breathing does to your nervous system and to your brain, it works. And for me, I need to know the science behind it. I need to know the why. Why am I doing it? People say breathing calms you down. Well, it does scientifically. Why? Let me see the results. I don't feel like breathing, the breath work has been like that mind-blowing for me, but I do feel some sense of calm, some. Now, there are some other tools that she's given me when I'm experiencing some anxiety or feeling triggered by something or upset, like that I'm immediately able to do to help regulate my nervous system. And that's the thing that I see now when I'm watching people or talking to friends on the phone or just having conversations out at dinner is that a lot of people are walking around with irregulated nervous systems. And I just want to be able to help everybody because I'm like, no, you don't have to feel this way. You can feel better. And as a Christian, I think I've always said, we just need Jesus. We just need Jesus. And a part of me felt guilty because I'm like, but I'm praying. Okay, I'm reading the Bible. I'm listening to worship music, but nothing's helping. Okay, well, there are some science-backed things that we can do to help rewire our brain to calm the nervous system that God created. And all of these things we can do. And what I love about what Mara is teaching me, it all relates back to biblical practices and what Jesus said in the Bible. Our body does need rest. We do need that regulation. I'm going to shout her name out because I think everybody should at least have a conversation with her to figure out what it is that's going on inside of you to make you feel stuck, anxious. And it doesn't have to be a relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband. It can be a relationship with money, which is something that we have really worked through with me. I might have to do a whole podcast episode on that because I have just uncovered and discovered things about my mindset and relationship with money that drives a lot of my decisions in life, who I date, what clients I work with, how I'm running my business, why I chose to be an entrepreneur. So many things that I'm uncovering and discovering that I just never would have before. And honestly, because of all of this, finding joy in what I'm doing, working with Sharon Decker, working with the Allstate Youth Choir, working with Mara to help regulate my nervous system, it's helping me show up as a better business owner, a better friend to myself, giving myself grace, which I think I was always a good friend to other people. I was a good daughter, sister. I don't think I was showing up as a good friend to myself. And so I've really honed in on that relationship more than anything this year. And that in return has helped me be a better business owner, be a better friend for the people in my life that I actually care about. All right, the faith journey part of this too, I know we talked about it a little bit, but living alone for these past few years has really caused me and forced me to grow closer to God. So at this season of my life, even though it is such a roller coaster of where I want to be, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I was, and that feels good. But it has forced me to grow and develop a closer relationship. Sometimes that silence and solitude, which I avoided like the plague before. I would avoid it at all costs. I would always have people over. I would always be FaceTiming people. I would be drinking wine just so I would FaceTime people. And it was just feeling like a void of loneliness. And now I'm able to just sit and be alone. Now, I say this, I don't like being alone still. And I think that's okay. I think we were meant for community. We were meant and made for connections. But I think before I didn't like sitting alone with my thoughts. And now I'm totally fine with that. I'm fine with sitting with my thoughts. I like who I am as a person. So that solitude has actually helped me grow closer to God because I've been given that blessing of being able to grow closer to Him. And what that looks like for me is I have my Bible sitting out on a stand-up podium. I'll show you a picture of it, but it's sitting out on a stand-up podium. And so that way I'm just so mindful. Every time I walk by it, I just read a verse or a scripture. It's helping me just remember to stay in the Word of God. I also have given up TV Mondays through Fridays. So I am doing what I call my TV detox. I work from home, and so sometimes I would like to have the TV on in the background so I could just get work done. I think a lot of people with ADHD do that, multitasking. They just need noise and busyness. I think that's why I get so much more work done in a coffee shop sometimes. I'm a huge believer in we are what we consume, whether that's music, TV, reading, social media. We are what we consume. So even though TV was on in the background, I was feeling stress and I wasn't sure where the stress and anxiety was coming from because I really had no reason to feel stress and anxiety. There was no circumstances in my life. And I just started really thinking about it. And I said, is it because of the shows that are on in the background? Because most shows nowadays are drama, true crime, or some kind of like evil, twisted plot. And I kind of like those, I'm not going to lie. But I think just having them on in the background all the time, those anticipations and the hooks and the ending to make you want to watch the next episode. So you binge watch the episode, and I get it because they're designed to do that. That's marketing. But I think just having that on in the background was causing more anxiety and stress subconsciously than I even knew. So right now, I am not turning the TV on Monday through Friday. What that has done for me is get me out of the house more, because I'm too tempted to turn on the TV, but I'm like, no, if I go to a coffee shop, I won't turn on the TV and I'll have some of that distraction. Or I will stay in my office and reward myself. Okay, if you just get this one project done, you can go out for a walk for 10 minutes, or you can go do this. Instead of those mindless hours, I was still getting work done. I was still meeting deadlines, but I think my brain was just consuming a lot of stuff that was unnecessary. And I want to cut out the noise as much as possible so I can sleep better at night, so I can just have a more regulated nervous system once again. And so I'm going to encourage you, if you can't detox from your phone and social media because you're a social media manager or an agency owner, I highly encourage you to at least do some sort of screen detox. Now, my exception to that rule is if I'm eating, like sitting down to eat, I will watch a YouTube video or something while I work. Or if I want to watch TV during the week, it has to be a YouTube video or a course that I've signed up for and just haven't watched the videos yet. I want to be sure that I'm learning something or educating myself while I'm doing that. But what I have found is instead of turning on the TV, I eat. I'm mindful while I eat. I think about things. And then I'm listening to a podcast while I do dishes or laundry during the middle of the day. Another thing that I've really been trying to do is put my clothes and dishes to bed. Before I get in bed, I put up all clothes and all dishes. Not easy, but again, I know that helps me in this ADHD world of clutter and disaster and mess for me to not feel so messy. That's why I try to have people over at my place on the weekends all the time as well, or invite people over, is because I like a clean, tidy place. And I try to always keep a clean, tidy place. If you've been here, you know that. Okay, what's going on with social media right now? What are some of the updates? We all know that video is king, right? We've talked about that so many times. But some of this more organic feeling content where it looks like it's not curated, it is just random videos of you doing something with some words on top, are performing really well right now. The less video edited, the better. And I think one of my more viral ones was when I was cutting open a papaya and then I had some words on top of it. Another one, I was riding in the car and some words were on top of it. So those are what we call B-roll clips. And storytelling. How are you telling a story in those words? Because people like to multitask, their brains like to multitask. And so I'm teaching in my membership right now how we do that. How do we batch create content like that? How do we get really good hooks? And how do we storytell where people will read what it is that you're talking about? If you want to learn more about that, be sure to comment the word LIME, L-I-M-E, and we will send you a link to get on the wait list for the membership. Right now in the membership, we are doing a summer social camp. We are doing a full AI training, a full Canva training, a full batch contenting sessions. June was back to the basics. July is a little bit more advanced, but we've had such a fun time in that summer social camp, and I can't wait to share it with y'all when we do open the membership back up. I used to get frustrated joining memberships or watching YouTube videos where I didn't have a coach to ask questions to or a community to ask questions to. And that's what I changed. In this membership, you get me as a coach, you get to ask the questions. And if I don't know the answers, we find the answers. And that's what this membership has been all about. But it is for you, whether you're a beginner, a novice, or advanced. There is something for you in there. It's a great place to stay up to date with social media trends, especially if you can't afford a social media manager. This is the place for you. Okay, so we talked about organic content looking really well, more authentic, just kind of off the cuff post. On the opposite end of that, what we see trending is very scrapbooky edited style carousels. And I like this one. I think they're really fun to create as a designer and artist and creator. I think they're really fun. And I like seeing them because I think you get to see people's personalities inside of them. They do take up a lot more time, but honestly, if you have templates ready, like we do in our membership, they're not hard and they're super fun. And we're always putting templates like that inside the membership. So you don't have to create them from scratch. You can just use them organically. All right, let's talk about AI. AI can be so daunting and intimidating. I get it. But honestly, I love AI. I love how it's helped me just efficiently run my business. It's helped me be able to figure out some blinders that I've had in my personal life, in my business, and it learns you pretty well, more than we know ourselves sometimes. It's been my right-hand man and assistant. And so that is why in the membership, we're teaching these ChatGPT prompts. We're also teaching about one of my favorite AI tools called Poppy AI. I will link my affiliate code below so you can have a discount if that's something you're interested in. But I've loved using these tools efficiently to help manage my time better. Like I said earlier, AIs and virtual assistants have been charging a lot more. Their prices have gone up. So even if you're paying $200 a month for an AI tool, is it worth it? Because you would be paying a virtual assistant maybe twice as much to get some of this work done. And that's where I want you to see, what can I delegate to an AI? What can I delegate to a person? But how can I use AI to efficiently streamline my business so I don't have to pay people as much? This is going to be coming rapidly fast in a lot of areas of business. I do see AI replacing jobs. And you will hear people say, oh, it's not going to replace people. It's going to replace people who aren't using it. I disagree. I disagree. I think there's a lot of people who are going to know how to use AI and their jobs are still going to be replaced by AI. I think we're about to see a huge stream of people losing their jobs. And I hate to say that. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because I love AI and I love what AI can do. But I do think the scary parts of AI outweigh the good right now. I think in the medical field, it's going to be great. I think it is going to have a lot less human error. I think it's going to save a lot of time on research, medical research. And there are so many cases out there right now on how AI has helped diagnose what's been going on, because it can run through all the data just 10 times faster than a human can. And I think things like that are great, but that still comes at the expense of someone's job and time and salary that they're getting paid. And these are people who went to school specifically for their industry. And so I see it replacing, I won't even get into some of the jobs I see it replacing. Maybe we'll do a whole podcast on the good versus ugly of AI. But I just want you to prepare yourself. And this is why I want you to learn AI. I want you to be aware of how people are using it for the good and the bad. And I want you to be prepared on how to talk to your children about it, how to talk to your spouse about it if you see that their job might be high risk. And I want you to prepare yourself, because we do have a future of AI that is not going anywhere. If you have questions about AI, I'd love to have a conversation with you. So hit me up in the DMs on Instagram or LinkedIn and let's have a conversation about it. Okay, that's it for this solo episode. I'll try not to keep them too far and in between. And if you like this, please leave this podcast a review. If you're following this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to shine online and be someone else's online socialite.